Good morning, Mr. Hargreaves.
Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning, Andy. We all want to improve our schools. We want to improve the way students can learn. And we want to build on a concept that it's really possible to give them that environment. Can I ask you, what is your definition about a high-performance school?
A high-performance school is a school that really tries to reach high standards in things that it and other people value for all the children within the school.
And if we look at those schools, we always think students should have a high achievement. They really should build on their learning capabilities. What is your opinion on that? How can we improve students' achievements?
The easy definition is what is a high-performing school. The hard task is how to achieve becoming a high-performing school, and in fact becoming a high-performing organisation in general. Mm-hmm. And this is a much more complicated answer than a simple definition. It really depends on your capacity to have a clear vision or dream almost that animates and drives everybody within the organisation, and then the capacity to bring people together as a community, as a committed community in support of that dream. Mm-hmm. The ability to develop people through training and support so that they are capable of doing the things that they will be required in teaching and learning, that they will be motivated so that they can motivate all their students. And then very careful systems of tracking, assessment and monitoring on the things that you value, not on the things that are easily tested, so that you know how well and how far with every student you are achieving what you want to achieve, and that you are able to engage the students and engage your teachers in that process of monitoring and tracking as well.
So the people working in that school are very important in the professionalism, how they really can act and perform towards their students.
A high-performance school cannot operate in a top-down, bureaucratic, mechanical, Newtonian way. It has to operate very differently in ways that engage all the people, all the capacities, all the powers within it.
And how can we reach a community, an organization where teachers and also school leaders are able to do that?
Well, the leader is, of course, the most important thing. I have rarely seen a high-performing organization under poor leadership at the top. It is possible, so if a high-performing organization has had a highly effective leader previously and that they have a mediocre successor for a while anyway, really strong team leadership, distributed leadership can still carry the organization and can still carry its success. But usually the leadership at the top needs to have the capacity, the motivation, the will and the willingness to be able to develop and release leadership among the rest of their community, releasing leadership among the teachers, releasing leadership with parents and the community, and importantly releasing leadership among the students as well.
Okay. And what does it mean for the teachers? How should they behave?
Within a high-performing school, it's that teaching is no longer, as it used to be in the 1970s, a matter of professional autonomy. Autonomy for the teacher is a good thing. All professions require some autonomy and discretion. It's not a standardized script, whether you're a surgeon or an architect or an engineer. You need to be able to have the room to adjust what you know to the circumstances, the clients that you are engaging with. But in the 1970s, professional autonomy was interpreted as individual autonomy. Everyone could really do what they liked with no clear criteria as to whether it was effective. So you got brilliant teachers and you also got abominable teachers, and there was no way really to connect them. Now in a high-performing organisation, and particularly a school, teaching is really about collective responsibility. And this means collective responsibility around the curriculum, around teaching, around learning. And it means collective responsibility for children. So it means if my child in grade 6 if you are their teacher in grade 1, in year 1, you feel as responsible for the children in my grade as I do, because they also used to be your children.
Yes.
That the special education teacher shares responsibility with the regular classroom teacher for children. Teachers no longer feel possessive, that these are my children that I care for and they all belong to me. But now there's a collective responsibility for all students' achievement. And what teachers do is highly transparent to each other by what they see in each other's classes, by the results that they can observe together that may be posted in common spaces and so on. So it's really about collective responsibility.
You also say that students should be involved in the change of the system. Can you explain that?
Students are, in my experience, almost the last to be informed about any educational change. Often they find out by accident, and then of course their parents find out by accident as well, and this creates great problems for the school, its credibility, the support that you can have for it and so on. So engaging the students and the parents at every stage is absolutely crucial, and there are so many examples of this. If you establish a new innovative school, for example, when you do so, consult the community as you establish the school. So if you're doing anything different, like an interdisciplinary curriculum or spaces that don't look like regular classrooms, they will understand with you from the beginning what it is that you are trying to achieve. Engaging students in their own learning, reviewing their own learning, setting their own targets with you as to where they want their learning to be in 3 months, 6 months. Developing children with the capacity, if they have special needs, to use technologies that will assist them, to know what their disability is, to be able to advocate for what support they need for their disability in every regular teacher's classroom, so they can say, I'm sorry, I can't concentrate if there's someone next to me like this, they distract me, I need to be in another space.
So everybody should be involved.
Everybody at every stage. In the city of Boston, students are even involved in negotiating the teacher's contract. So there are student references. So if you want to take this seriously, you really have to take this seriously.
Yeah. Is this also what you call then a culture of change is being implemented in every vessel of that community and in the school?
The policymakers tend to concentrate on structures of change. So they concentrate on the things that they can change easily. They can say, one day we don't have standards, the next day we do have standards. One day we don't have these kinds of schools, the next day we do have these kinds of schools. These are the things that appeal to policy. One day we have targets, and next year we've achieved the targets. But in my experience, although structure is somewhat important, the purpose of a structure is to change the interactions amongst people, to change and improve the relationships amongst people. And the best schools are ones that have intense, repeated, focused, formal and informal interactions amongst teachers that are concentrated on the needs of their students. And it's this intensity of culture of collaboration that really makes a high-performance organisation work well.
And the last point we also think is very important in making a high-performance school is that you say then we create public value. Is that also the end result, that you create public value by creating a high-performance school? Or is it the beginning?
All high-performance organisations, because we've also studied, we've done this big study of 20 organisations in business, sport and education. And even those in business and sport perform better than they did, better than their peers, and better than you would expect given their resources, when they pay attention to what they contribute to public value, as well as what they contribute in business or in sport to private profit and to private value. So this is an obvious point, even when it's not what we would regard as being a public sector organisation. In schools, this is even more important. There's always a tension between the parent who believes that their child is their own prince or princess who is special to them, and the tension between the teacher and the school who have to pay attention to everyone's child in a way. In the Netherlands, this is even more complicated because unlike almost any other country, you have this great diversity of many different kinds of school organised by different faiths, different interests, and so on. And so the task is not only to bring the parents together and teachers within the school to say, how does this school contribute to public good as well as to the private good of every child? The task now, I believe, in all countries, especially those that have high immigration, challenges of cohesion and direction in the society, is to bring all the schools together, whatever kind of school they are, so that they collaborate, they share what they have. If there are weak schools, there are strong schools there to support them, so that within a community, people think, I'm not only responsible for my school, but I'm responsible for the children in all the schools in my community. And this is one of the hardest challenges for many people in a semi-private system, but an essential one to face in societies facing challenges of cohesion.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.